to recap show. Oh my God. Week 2 did not let us down in college football. We had all sorts of upsets. And the biggest question that we have after 2 weeks of college football is, who do you trust? Who can we literally trust to go out there and handle business and line it up against inferior competition and not let you down? Who can we trust? And I came up with actually really two teams in college football right now that we can for sure trust. And I'm going to give you guys those in just a minute. But we had upsets, we had near upsets. And the question is, why can't anybody handle business? Just roll FCS teams. Why can't you take a group of 5 team and just smack them down? That's the biggest question. And I got all the answers for you today. My top 25 got absolutely blown up. My college football playoff bracket, it's not blown up yet, but it's a couple dents in that thing. But the biggest thing that we want to start out with is, so just finished watching the Oregon game, and that was an absolute mess and a catastrophe, and we'll get to that in just a couple minutes. But I also wanted to start with the biggest game of the entire day, which was the Texas Michigan game. And everybody gave me all sorts of hell and you guys make sure that you leave all your comments in the chat. I will get to them. People gave me hell about having Michigan number 21 in my beginning of the season college football poll. And when you watched them play today, what did you see? Did that look like one of the best teams in the country to you? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And we'll get to that in just a minute. But first of all, I want to give you my best of the day and my worst of the day. So my 5 best teams of the day: the Texas Longhorns, the Northern Illinois Salukis, the Tennessee Volunteers, Arizona State Sun Devils, and the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Those were the 5 most impressive teams today. And you might be like, oh, George, but Ohio State, what? Man, Ohio State played nobody. We don't care. That's not impressive. That's exactly what you are supposed to do. And I actually had 6. I couldn't even narrow it down to 5 worst teams of the day. There were 6. Notre Dame, number 1. Michigan, number 2. Penn State, 3. Colorado, 4. Alabama, 5. And Oregon, 6. Those were the worst teams today in college football in terms of their performance versus what your expectation was. And we're going to start out with that Texas-Michigan game. Texas 31, Michigan 12. And they went to the big house. Because remember, people were like, oh, is Texas going to be ready for the SEC? Are they ready for it? Man, this is the same team that marched down to Tuscaloosa last year. And I don't know why people thought that all of a sudden that Quinn Ewers was going to get overwhelmed being in the big house versus being in Tuscaloosa last year and then playing in the college football playoff. So he's a guy who has had enough veteran experience that it's like you growing up and then somebody telling you, oh, the boogeyman's coming. You were like, listen, man, I'll say Candyman, Candyman, Candyman 3 times into the mirror and I'm not afraid. And that's exactly what Texas did. They walked into the big house. They didn't give a damn. And I knew that this was going to happen. They were 7-point favorites, and this was an absolute layup. I told everybody all week, bet this game. This is a layup. And Quinn Ewers. All of this Arch Manning talk about, and I was part of it, Arch Manning, where he was going to get on the field at some point if this offense didn't look great. Well, Arch ain't getting on the field absent Quinn Ewers getting hurt or them being in an absolute blowout. Now, this Michigan team, people much like, oh, George, how could you have the defending national champions, number 21, coming into the season? They might not even be a top 25 team if we're really being honest. They're on the fringe because their defense is solid, but their offense is nowhere near it needs to be. Davis Warren was a walk-on. their quarterback. But today, he was okay. 22 for 33, a touchdown, two picks. But Texas sat up there and was like, we double dog dare you. We double dog dare you to throw the football at a high level. Now remember, even with J.J. McCarthy, Jim Harbaugh wouldn't do that. They wouldn't do it. And now that Sharon Moore is there, he's part of the same thing. But the biggest question about this Michigan team is, where do they go from here? Because they did not look great in the Fresno State game either. I did not love it. But they found a way to come, get a win. But when you look at their upcoming schedule, they have Arkansas State next week. That should be a win. And then they got USC after that. And remember, this is a game that people thought USC, oh my gosh, man, listen. this should not scare USC at all, because USC is going to be able to score points against this Michigan defense. Now the question is, how good is USC's defense? Are they going to be able to stop the run enough? Because they're up 41-0 as we speak on Utah State. Absolute layup of a game because Utah State's terrible. But there we go. Now, I also want to give credit to, on to the next game, really. But Texas, Sark, your boosters, everybody that is a part of that program, bravo. Bravo. You did your thing. Now, the next game up, I want to talk about the game that actually just ended, because the Oregon Ducks, this was a team that I had ranked number 2 coming into the season. They were ranked number 3 in the AP poll. They fell down to number 7. I dropped the Ducks to this last week in my top 25 to number 10. And once we plug it into the model and everything else, we're going to see what it spits out this week. But this team is, honestly, I figured it out. I figured this Oregon Ducks team out, because people are like, oh, we're nervous about them and all this stuff. First of all, they were in an absolute dogfight with Boise State, 37-34. It took every single second of the game to win. Absolute dogfight. And I have figured this Oregon team out. This is a team that at this point in time, until Dan Lanning gets this part of the game fixed, this is a team that offensively doesn't have quite the identity that they needed to have. And it looks like a team that on offense looks like that they were going to roll their helmets and throw their jerseys out on the field and win. They had some explosive plays today. Dylan Gabriel was getting sacked too many times in the first half, and a lot of it wasn't even the offensive line's fault. So this Oregon team, and now this defense, and I know everybody's going to be like, oh, yeah, but they gave up 34 points. If you actually watch the game, because Ashton Gentry had 25 carries for 192 and 3 touchdowns, but he did have a 70-yard touchdown. Oregon in the second half shut the run down, minus that one long run. They were up by a touchdown, beginning of the fourth quarter, going down the score. Now, all of a sudden, that 19 number, it became a reality, because Boise State could not throw the ball. Their quarterback finished 17 for 40 for 148 yards and a touchdown. So that's back-to-back weeks the Oregon defense has smothered the pass game. Smothered the pass game. So they have the marks of a good defense. They have the hallmarks of a good team. But there is a consistency issue on the offensive side. And you know who this team reminds me of right now? They remind me of the 2012 Notre Dame Fighting Irish, where they squeak by a bunch of games, end up in a national championship. That's what this, and granted, Oregon at this point in time is not a national championship contending team. No. I would be nervous if they got on the field with Texas at this point in time. But this is the arc and the development of the season. This is why you don't have to be great and a national championship team right now. Do they have the the talent and the makeup of it, 100%. But what you're seeing on the field right now is not going to win you a national championship. It's not. There's no way, shape, form, or fashion. And but I also think that good teams, they underestimate how good their players are, and that when you lose a Jackson Powers, who's playing for the Raiders right now, Bo Nix, other players that were really good players on the offensive side and the offensive line, that just because you have good players that are younger, that the replacement is going to work just as good. But no, the replacement has to get those reps and those time on task, just like those younger players do. So, and I will say, I apologize, Anita Baker. I apologize because I underestimated how good Bo Nix was. And it's not that Dylan Gabriel's not good, but that boy, Bo Nix, different level. Same offensive coordinator, offense looks different. Not saying it's something, but there's something to look at there. All right, now we got to go on to the first train wreck of the day. And the first train wreck of the day was Colorado playing against Nebraska. This was an absolute disaster of a game for Colorado. Disaster of a game. And oh, hold up. Somebody told me I'm very quiet. All right, we got to turn this volume up on things here. All right. Hold on. Testing, testing, testing. All right. Testing, testing. Why are we low? Testing, testing. All right. So, yep. So we are a little bit low right now. Have to figure out why. Sorry. Okay. So we should be a little bit better right now on the volume, but I'll step it up and we'll go from there. So first disaster of the day was the Colorado game. And this Colorado game, this team was absolutely like there were so many expectations, and I have not understood for the life of me, for any life of me, why people were picking or expecting Colorado to be good this year. They were not. And so, and I've told you guys, I want Deion to have success. But I am confused because Deion Sanders, high football IQ guy, he's been around. And he sat there and trotted out another putrid offensive line. And this is no less than child abuse, what he's doing to his own son, Shadur Sanders. Because this game, if you watched it, it was a freeway to Shadur Sanders, an absolute freeway. This dude had his son standing back there, getting his ass kicked time after time. There was, and last year I criticized Shador at times because he took some sacks that he did not need to take. But today, when you watched him against Nebraska, said, "Hut, dude's running for his life the entire game." Why does this matter? Because when you are building teams, you have to build through high school recruiting. You can add players through the portal, but high school recruiting is where you have to build. You can get your skill positions out the transfer portal, but you cannot build an offensive line through the transfer portal. It is not possible because the best players in the country do not go in the transfer portal at the offensive line, really. And if they do you know where they're going? Oregon, Georgia, Alabama, national championship type teams, because it's only so few of them. And then you're picking from guys that probably didn't play where they were. So that's a whole nother issue that you got to deal with. And this was a 28-10 loss. And their defense in the second half buckled down because they gave up 28 points. Well, they gave up 21 points in the first half. Shedeur gave up their first touchdown when he threw a pick six early. But Shedeur finished 21 for 38 for 244 yards, a touchdown, and that early pick. Travis Hunter, 10 catches, 110 yards. But this was a game that Nebraska tried to take the air out of the football at the end. Colorado couldn't stop the run early. I am the lack of physicality of Colorado is highly concerning. This Nebraska team is 2-0, but I'm going to tell you, when you go to bet this team later, don't do it. Don't do it. This team is not as good as you think that they are, despite them being 2-0 right now and off to a good start. And all offseason, I told you that this game was going to send these teams in different directions. And Nebraska has confidence, and they are on pace to potentially have a winning season this year. And Shedeur, Deion, Colorado, you can start to see a little bit of fractures. And this is going to be a 30 for 30. This is going to be a real 30 for 30. Because it is literally impossible to play quarterback at a high level when your offensive line is doing you like this. Absolutely impossible. Hold on. I'm going to ask a question in the chat. Is the I'm asking about the sound. Is the sound still too low right now? I'm gonna crank this thing all the way up. Because I'm not sure why we are having a sound issue when we do this literally every single day. But technology is technology, and sometimes it's going to be like that. Hold on, let me turn it up on my end and see. Oh man, it's still too quiet. Let me try one more fix for you guys before we screw up the whole live. Oh, okay. Okay, so the sound on Twitter is fine. It's the YouTube sound that is the issue. So we will get that fixed. Okay, so we gotta figure out what's going on with the Twitter feed. I mean, with the YouTube feed. But so you guys go listen to it on Twitter if the sound is too low for you on YouTube. All right. So this Colorado issue, huge issue, everything in between, and this makes me wonder about Deion Sanders, because is Deion Sanders going to be willing to stick around this Colorado team? Because he has to find a quarterback. He has to find offensive line. At least just keep this offensive line together for a couple of years. Let them get some starts. Have you ever noticed when you're watching college football games that people are like, yo, this offensive line has a lot of starts together? Because that's what the best ones do. They have to communicate, pick up blitzes, understand. And your center a lot of times is the catalyst of that group. So, and I'm gonna tell you, I've been a supporter of Deion, but also honest in the criticism. If he packs up and leaves Colorado after this year, that'll be shady as hell, super shady. That means that he was literally only in it for Shedeur, Shiloh, and Travis Hunter. That's it. And yes, other people were helped along the way, but come on, man. If you really in it, you really got to be in it. I do not want to hear SEC folks at the end of this year talking about oh, how much of a gauntlet the SEC is with them 8 conference games. I do not want to hear it because the SEC, Auburn just lost to Cal today. And then when Auburn turns around and beats Alabama or beats Tennessee or beats whoever, y'all gonna be screaming, "Oh, see, look at the gauntlet is the SEC," and forgetting about the fact that the SEC over the last couple of years in the non-conference against Power Five teams has been sorry. There's been no dominance. Now, is the top of the SEC super good with Georgia and Bama last year? Yes. Yes. This year, could Ole Miss be special? Could be. We haven't seen them play anybody yet. Is Tennessee good? Their damn sure defense is. But don't sit up here and talk to me about no gauntlet in the SEC. Nobody wants to hear it because there's going to be a narrative pushed at the end of the year once the conference games start and everybody else's conference starts beating up on each other. And then the SEC puts the November cupcakes in. Oh man, the ACC, the Big Ten, the Big 12, they played their way out of it. No, force the SEC to schedule 9 conference games, penalize them. Just saying. All right, now on to the next game. Notre Dame lost to Northern Illinois. Yes, the team that I had making it after week 1, making it to the national championship. Lost to Northern Illinois. And Marcus Freeman, I know the Notre Dame faithful pitchforks are out right now. And he has to find a quarterback because the last 2 transfers are not working out. Riley Leonard today, 20 for 32, 163 yards. That's less than 10 yards of completion. Well under. And 2 interceptions. That ain't gonna work, fam. Like the Northern Illinois game and the Miami of Ohio game are literally the only games on Notre Dame's schedule that you look at and you're like, okay, that there's no way that these games should get competitive. But oh boy. And like the transfer portal has created a lot of parity. But in the age of portal teams creating parity, this is not what Northern Illinois is. Only 5 previous players on their team were on Power 4 rosters, and 2 of them are kickers. So that means only 3 players came out of the portal. And you got Thomas Hammock, who was the Ravens running back coach before leading and now building NIU for the last 5 seasons. And he is actual proof because running back coaches never get head coaching jobs. And he is proof that running back coaches aren't just the token black guy on your staff or the lowest skilled coach on your staff, that you can actually promote these guys to be head coaches. And Hammock actually played at Northern Illinois, so that has to make it even more special for him. And there is no excuse for Notre Dame not to run the ball because their top 2 backs, Love and Price, had 103 yards on only 15 carries at 7 yards per carry. But for some ungodly reason, you stop running the football. Make it make sense. Make it make sense because you can't. You can't. And there was a lot of people talk, oh, George, but Miami, their huge win. Well, actually, to finish with Notre Dame, I want to go to that Texas A&M win that they had last week. Texas A&M's offense is not good. It's not good. And yes, that's a quality win, but this season, the chaos is because of the transfer portal and NIL. So rosters are nowhere near as deep as they were. You're going to be playing younger players, more inexperienced players, and coaches are figuring out, oh, damn, I'm bringing in all these transfer portal players, and I'm building a roster, but not always building a team. So you got to build a team over building a roster. And you look at Miami fans super happy today, 56-9 over Florida A&M, almost 400 yards and 5 TDs combined between Cam Ward and Damian Martinez, the Pac-12 guys. Huh. That's why Miami is so good, because of the Pac-12. Told y'all that here on Unafraid Show, so y'all make sure that you guys check that out. All right, so we got so we already talked about them. Georgia, they knocked off Tennessee Tech, layup of a game after they demolished Clemson too. They took it light on Tennessee Tech, 48-3, and there were 15 different Bulldog players that got a catch. This was the perfect type of game to make your bench guys feel extremely included. Extremely included. So I've already covered two of my worst teams of the week, Notre Dame and Michigan. And the third one, this might surprise some people, and that's Penn State. Penn State, this game by Penn State, now they took care of West Virginia last week. But this game against Bowling Green, yeah. Not that Bowling Green's a bad team, but it was 34-27. And this game literally took every single inch of Penn State. They did a tremendous job running the football, 37 carries, 234 yards. And their defense used to feel like the thing that you could hang their hat on, but it's clearly not right now. Because Bowling Green was throwing the ball all over the place on them. They were getting what they wanted. But the biggest question about Penn State, about whether they are going to be a contender or not, because we can give you a pass for this Bowling Green this Bowling Green game. Not in previous years, but in this year, the 12-team playoff, and the parity that is existing, we can give you a pass for that. But everything that Penn State accomplishes this year is going to be because of one man. It is going to be because of Drew Aller. So everything that they get, bad or good, is going to be because of Drew Aller. That's it. He is the only person that is going to be able to decide whether this team can go to a college football playoff or not. And that close of a win, that wasn't what you wanted to see out of Penn State, which is why they went on the week's worst list. So we've covered Notre Dame, Michigan, Penn State, Colorado, Oregon, and then there's Alabama. Because people are like, wait, George, how could you have Alabama on the worst of the week? Did you watch the game? It took every single thing that Alabama had. They pulled away at the very end of the game because South Florida's quarterback, he can't throw the ball. Byron Brown, he's not a good passer. But it was South Florida's defense that kept Alabama at bay. 42 rushes, 200 yards, 4.7 yards a rush. But it was their passing game that they kept in check until the very end of the game. When Ryan Williams had that 43-yard touchdown, Jalen Milroe was barely over 100 yards passing. Late into halfway through the fourth quarter. So it looks like Alabama, even though that they but they ended up running the ball pretty well because they broke some Jam Miller broke some late runs at the end. But this in no way was a decisive victory. It was 16-17 going into the fourth quarter. Yes, 16-17, and it was turnovers and the fact that South Florida couldn't pass the ball. If South Florida had a quarterback who could literally drop back and complete passes, they would have been in great shape. But Byron Brown did do good on the ground, 23 for 108 yards. He was a nice running back. Now, but this Alabama team, much like Oregon right now, can they develop into that national championship type team? Yes. Are they a team that I'm looking at right now and I'm saying, oh yeah, that team can win it? Absolutely not. Not yet. And as far as the best teams of the day, I gave you Texas, gave you Northern Illinois, gave you Nebraska, who should be happy with what Dylan Raiola and this team did in the first half, but the second half was a little shaky, but still a big win for a team that has had 7 consecutive losing seasons. And the last team that I had to put on the best of the week list, Arizona State. Now, Arizona State was picked, I think, dead last in the Big 12. Huh? They not looking like a dead last in the Big 12 team right now. They took care of Mississippi State tonight, 30-23, and they were up at one point. They were up 27-3 at halftime, and then 30-3 and then 30-10 at the end of the third quarter, and they led up in the fourth quarter, gave up way too many points. But Arizona State did this with their quarterback, Sam Levitt, the one that they chose, only going 10 for 20 for 69 yards. That's it. They only threw for 69 yards in the game. It was Cam Scatterboo's 33 carries, 262 yards, and that absolutely carried them. And Sam Levitt did have 11 carries for 68 yards and two touchdowns. This was 57 carries for 349 yards and 2 touchdowns. This is the thing that I love about Kenny Dillingham. This is when you know that you have a good offensive coach, good offensive mind, and Arroyo, who's calling the plays, did a good job clearly too. If something cannot be stopped, they continue to do it. Instead of lining up and saying, hey, we got a quarterback. We got our guy. We got to throw the damn ball. No. Line up. We are not a great football team right now. We are going to line up and just win the game. That's it. So they're doing whatever they have to do to win the game, and I appreciate that, so they get a hand clap. Now, speaking of bad offenses right now, Iowa State finally beat Iowa, and it was 20-19. This was a game that Iowa should have won by 3 touchdowns. Had Iowa had any level of offensive competency, they would have knocked the doors off of Iowa. And this is Kirk Ferentz's fault. Not just in the style of play that he chooses to have his team play. Because he even said once his son was out at offensive coordinator that they were going to play the same style of football. He was like, this is the way we play. Well, at the end of the game, they played not to lose the game. It was about 1:20 left in the fourth quarter. It was 3rd and 8. They were up by 2 points, and they run a toss the way they can take 40 seconds off the clock and punt instead of getting the first down, putting the ball in K. McNamara's hands and saying, oh, we are going to finish the game with the ball in our hands instead of a raggedy field goal beating you. Because this is not 2001. Finish the game with the ball in your hands, not this, let's trust our defense. Do you know how many crazy things happen? Hail Marys and everything else. They can't beat you with that if you still have the football and you're taking knees, people. But this was an absolute struggle bus of a game, 20-19, and the overhit knew it was going to hit. But we had to sweat it out. Because I have no idea how Iowa State did not lose by 30 points. I don't. And this Iowa team, like they are still letting their defense lead them. And yes, their offense is still the worst thing in college football. Iowa State has trouble throwing the football. This was just this Iowa had the ball inside the 5-yard line multiple times. Could not cash in, I think 3 times field goals. This is not it, buddy. This is not it. And if you are Kirk Ferentz, and honestly, this feels like Les Miles. I know that he is big in the state of Iowa. He's done a lot there. But as far as football goes, football has passed like on the offensive end. Now, does Kirk Ferentz build a culture, build toughness, all of these things 100%? But he has to find a way to do exactly what Nick Saban did, which is okay, we are going to keep our toughness, we're going to keep our intensity, we're going to keep our culture, and we are going to be good on offense. We are going to step into the modern era of college football and not keep just saying this is who we are. It ain't going to win. It is not possible to hold people to this low of points. Somebody eventually is going to be able to score. And it would be different if you had Georgia's defense from 2 years ago. But that ain't what you got. You ain't got a great defense, well coached, well cultured, everything. But Iowa has to be willing to play some offense. They have to. There's no way to win like this. And Cade McNamara, again, 13 for 29, 99 yards. This is an offensive problem. This is an offense. This is not just a player problem. You can put a different quarterback in Iowa's system, and he's going to have the same problems. I digress, though. All right, the next game up that we got to talk about is Cal and Auburn. Oh, the officiating in this game was something to behold. And if you were a Cal fan, you have every right to be upset. You have every right to want to throw stuff at the television because of this game. Like Justin Wilcox, who people have much maligned at Cal, the one thing that you can for sure say that he's done, his team has gone on the road and at home in non-conference and played well. They gave the Auburn game away last year on special teams. And now Justin Wilcox has his team 2-0. And the question is he turning a corner? Because that would matter. Because they are now a factor in the ACC. Just saying. But these refs, though, this was frustrating. Because they tried to give Auburn this game. And I was like, oh, that's where the Pac-12 refs must have gone in that game. And this is the exact reason why, and I said it earlier, the SEC has no reason not to play 9 conference games aside from being scared. Because you can't tell me that when you look at the SEC conference, there is no way that you can tell me that you believe that aside from Georgia at the top, right? Because you got Georgia. And aside from Georgia, you cannot tell me that, well, and Texas too. I will give Texas that so far. So you got Georgia and Texas. You can't tell me that South Carolina, Alabama, Missouri, Oklahoma, Ole Miss, Tennessee don't look like they can be beat. You cannot tell me that. They all look like they can be beat. And LSU already's been beat. Florida, Auburn. So make it make sense, people. Make it make sense. Kentucky, Texas A&M, where people are like, oh, see, it's a tough SEC game. It's the rivalry. Mississippi State, LSU, Florida, Auburn, Arkansas, and Vanderbilt. Tell me those look like really good. This is a gauntlet of a schedule. It's not. That's why you have to play 9 conference games, because some of these teams are going to win the schedule roulette and not have to play tough teams. And so this Auburn team, Peyton Thorne, he did a good job in terms of running the football, trying to make some plays. But we're going to have some questions about this conference at some point in time. And I just want to make sure that everybody's keeping the same energy at the end of the year when conference games start to heat up. and there are some upsets, which I am in love with. I will say this now, as much of a heart attack as my Oregon Ducks gave me today, I love the fact that in college football right now, you cannot just turn on the TV and be like, oh man, the game's over. Oh, we're playing Boise State, no problem. We're playing Idaho, no problem. You're playing South Florida, no problem. Because we have had so many unexpected close games this year alone. Oregon, Idaho, Bama, South Florida, Notre Dame, Illinois, Penn State, Bowling Green, Oklahoma, Houston. Oklahoma 12, 16, Houston 12. Brent Venables, Oklahoma's head coach, it was so bad that the coach was like, we actually deserve to lose. And where are all those 60-point SEC victories at right now that they were advertising at the bottom of the screen last week? Where them games at? Okay, exactly. This is the way college football is supposed to be. We are supposed to get near misses every single week and upsets every single week. That's how it's supposed to be. But I want to show some love to the Tennessee Volunteers. They went and played NC State 51 to 10. And you would think that my guy, Nico Iamalava, that he had some sort of special and dynamic game. It was cool. Good performance for a young player in a big game on a neutral site game because it was in um, Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte. So it's an away game, sort of. First away game. Nah, but it was that Tennessee defense. They shut down Grayson McCall. Tennessee only gave up 143 yards of total offense to Dave Dorn's team, NC State. And then Tennessee's running game was great. 44 carries, 249 yards, and 3 touchdowns, 5.7 yards a carry. This Tennessee team, when you have a young quarterback, this is exactly the way you want your team to play. Defense and running the ball. Because now he doesn't have to put the entire game on his shoulders. Because today, he was good and bad. 16 for 23, 211 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks, and then he ran for another 65 yards and a touchdown. And that's exactly the way you want to develop your young quarterback. That way, toward the end of the season, when games matter, now he will have the confidence and the experience to go be special and go be great. All right, I want to give credit where credit is due to Michigan State too and Jonathan Smith. They knocked off Maryland today, 27 to 34. And Jonathan Smith is doing now. If you are not familiar with his work at Oregon State, you are going to get very familiar with it soon over at Michigan State because he is building just like he does. He gets a young quarterback, so he's got Aiden Childs now. It wasn't pretty. Like, he had a good and terrible week too. 3 touchdowns, three picks. It ain't pretty, but it's better. It's better than what Michigan State trotted out on the field last year. They are going to be a tough out for most people that are not elite teams. Because we are experiencing literally one of the best college football seasons that we're going to see. And to round out the rest of the teams that are notable, USC blowout of Utah State. We knew that was going to happen. Ohio State, they had a lot of 5-star freshmen see action in their 56-0 blowout win over Western Michigan. We're going to see where they end up ranked once we plug in all the numbers. Because remember, the rankings are based upon quality wins, schedule played, and dominance. Ole Miss 52-3 over Middle Tennessee State. And, you know, he had Henry Parrish. He came back after Judkins left at running back. And he had 165 yards and 4 touchdowns today. Huge win. There is something to an injury that we got to pay attention to because Utah, who I had in my betting favorites at 15 and a half, they were on the way to an easy cover. Easy cover. They were up 23-0, and then Cam Rising, their quarterback who was out all last year, got hurt as he fell into the bench. So now, and he did not come back into the game. That's not a good sign. You hurt your fingers and you don't come back in the game. And not only did he not come back in the game, he was in street clothes. And they only ended up beating Baylor 23-12. So they didn't score another point after that. So if you are a fan of Utah, you should be highly concerned right now. Highly concerned. But this defense was still good and everything in between. And before we get you guys out of here, you guys make sure that you guys check out the Unafraid Show. We will have the top 25 coming out this week. We will have the playoff bracket. We will have your questions. So make sure that you send your questions to I'm Mad, IMMAD at unafraidshow.com. You guys, peace out. Thanks for joining me. Catch you guys next week.